What's good, guys? Back again with another video. Apologies for the last one. If you managed to get to the end of that video, you know that I muted myself halfway through by accident and I had to do a voiceover again. This is the second time recording this video because after I finished that video I went to record this one and I didn't even know I was on mute, and it was like, great, an entire video silence. But here we are, take two, which is all good. So in this one, as the title describes, some of the reasons why I've swapped out my deep crow egg hatchling thing, that one, Eggo number 2 as I call it. Few reasons, so I'll just show you which ones I mean. So I did have this, which is a deep crow hatchling, gives you 6,000 power as it stands as purple, also known as Eggo 2, which is great. 6,000 power, wow, that's a lot of power. And I swapped it out for the Razorwood, which gives me 3% crit severity. Now, the reason I did this, I thought, hold on, let me work this out. Would the extra 3% crit severity negate, if not benefit me more than 6,000 power? So before I start and go into some of the numbers that I've got here that I've wrote down, I would recommend you only try this if you are over 120,000 power, and the rest of your stats are where they need to be in terms of your armor pen, crit strike, accuracy. Combat advantage, not so much, because they're kind of working on that and fixing it for certain classes, so I can't really speak on combat advantage. But definitely over 120,000 and the rest of your stats. Otherwise, the gap just gets bigger and bigger and bigger to kind of fill, and it's just not going to work. It's not going to be beneficial to you. You'd rather take the 6,000 power. So without that out of the way, I'm sitting on 109, obviously minus 3 if I was on the Deep Crow. Now, I tested this a few different ways. One was I stood in the stronghold at the dummy. I got both my vengeance meter and my stamina meter full. I let all of my cooldowns disappear. I then hit the dummy one at will. I did Commander Strike, Griffin's Ray 3 times, Anvil of Doom, and that was it. I didn't do anything else. That was my rotation for these tests. So I did that. I pulled my log up. I had my log. I took a picture of the log. On the left hand side here, and then I swapped out to the Razorwood. I let all the cooldowns go again, all the buffs disappear. Same again. I got my vengeance meter full, my stamina full, and then same again. One at will, Commander Strike, Griffin's Ray 3 times, and an Anvil of Doom. And here's the interesting thing, that base damage power, so say when my Vorpal hits or my at will, I did this a couple of times. I did test this a couple of times just to be sure it wasn't just a one-off fluke. The base damage isn't that far apart. So yeah, so the difference wasn't too much or too bad that it kind of felt like, ooh, maybe I should just run the 6,000 power. It was literally only a couple of thousand here and there. I think I did 2 runs where I didn't crit on my Anvil of Doom, which is really odd. I did mention that in a previous video and I was like, I don't feel like it's critting as much. But again, that was only a difference of about 20,000, if that. Then when I changed to the Razorwood, I looked at the crits, obviously, because that's what I was more interested in. And the difference is quite big. It's between 15 to 20% on the majority of the runs that I did. So, I'm hitting an Anvil of Doom for previously, say, 240,000. Now I'm hitting it for close to 300,000, sometimes a little bit more. And it's consistent throughout the crits because it's your companion, it's your crit severity. So that's the reason why I've swapped over, because in these big dungeons and at the end, I am going to be critting a lot. End game, you're going to be critting a lot. Your stats are going to be there, and you're going to be hitting hard. And that difference of 6,000 power, it's good. Don't get me wrong, it's really good compared to an extra 15, 20, sometimes 25% like high end. More damage in your crits because you've got more crit severity. I'd definitely take that any day. without a doubt, I'd definitely take that. Especially combined, say, I've completely messed up my inventory, where'd they all go? Especially if, say, you grab these, so you've got an extra 3% from Razorwood. I also would advise grabbing a Snowy Fawn, dirt cheap, puts in a utility slot, and it's an extra 2% crit severity. Definitely take it. So that's a 5% crit severity off those two. I'm going to add one of these, an elixir, and one of these, and now look, I'm sitting at 129% crit severity. Those crits are going to be insane. You're going to be hitting some insane numbers. Yes, you're getting, it's only an extra 3% on the numbers, but in terms of how much damage you're doing, it works out more than 6,000 power would give you anyway. Again, this is for my fighter class. I know a lot of people say, oh well, I'm a barbarian or I'm a hunter ranger and I have 2 offensive slots. Great, run both of them if you can. If you have 2 offensive slots, run them both. If you have 3 offensive slots, run that and a siege master. Those 3, without a doubt. But if you're a fighter like myself, or you only have 1 offensive slot and you want that high damage and DPS, sometimes it's not always about how much power you have, X, Y, and Z. You've got to play it smart, because we can't afford to be end game everything and max out everything. We can't afford that at all. We're on a budget, so we play it smart. So a 3% gain in crit severity over 6,000 power. Okay, our base damage isn't going to be as high. We're going to lose out a couple thousand here and there, but when we crit, and the Anvil of Doom comes down, bam, you've put all your buffs on and everything, you've crit, you're going to be chunking. You're going to be taking absolute chunks out of that boss. So that's my thoughts. Let me know what you think if you are a fighter. I know a couple of you are. You've commented and mentioned if you're a fighter and you've only got 1, or you've got 1 offensive slot and you're stuck between the hatchling or something else. Personally, if you're over 120,000, you've hit the stats on the other stuff, and your stats are there ready for mod 17 as well, because they're getting a bit of a bump. I'd definitely run this. I would run the Razorwood. That's just my personal opinion, but let me know what you think in the comment section below. I know a couple of you will have some good thoughts and some good comments on it. I'm looking forward to reading them. But yeah, that was it. Hopefully, let me check. I'm not on mute, which is all good. So, cheers for watching. Comment, please subscribe. We're trying to get to that 200 subscriber count, and we're going to do another giveaway. Let me know what you thought of the video. Let me know if you agree, disagree, if you're unsure, or if you just can't afford to buy either. What would you pick instead? I am going to do a video on companions for the fighter, because it is tricky, because we only have 1 offensive slot. Like I say, the rest are pretty much defense, and a utility slot. So I will do a video on those. I mean, you can just look at the ones that I've got there. But if you can't afford them, I'll touch on different ones. Anyway, I digress. Like, comment, subscribe, let me know. Peace.